There is an air of unpredictability sweeping the Miami Gardens, especially after Novak Djokovic's surprising loss on Tuesday. Simona Halep, photo by Chrysaline Caio, copyright at Sportvision. Both the men's and women's singles draws are down to the quarterfinals, and it's hard to tip anyone as a heavy favorite on either side. Roger Federer is the most likely candidate for the title on the men's side, but he has been left behind in the round of 16 due to rain. He'll play his fourth-round match today against Daniil Medvedev. 4 other men begin their quarterfinals today, while the women will complete theirs. Top 5 seeds Simona Halep and Karolina Pliskova are faced with opposition that is relatively new to playing at this stage of a tournament of this caliber. Simona Halep, 2, vs. Chang Wang, 18, embed from Getty Images. Halep is vying for her first title in nearly 8 months, as the last winner's trophy she lifted was in Canada last summer. She is also in the running to reclaim the #1 ranking with a few more wins. Halep defeated Wang in their only previous meeting, last year in Indian Wells. But 27-year-old from China has taken her career to a new level over the past 6 months ago. It started in her home country last year, when she won the title in Guangzhou, made the semis of both Wuhan and Beijing, and was a finalist in Hong Kong as well at the WTA Elite Trophy event in Zhuhai. Chang now looks to reach her second Premier mandatory semifinal, which would equal her effort from Beijing last September. I expect a lot of grueling backcourt rallies between these two. Is Halep ready for that, considering her knee is at less than 100%? She looked just fine against Venus Williams on Monday, though Venus herself was at far less than her best. And Simona seems to be quickly settling into her new coaching situation, as this is her first tournament reunited with her former coach, Daniel Dobre. Look for Halep to get through what will likely be an extended 3-set battle. Borna Coric, 11, vs. Felix Auger-Aliassime, Q, embed from Getty Images. This will be the first meeting between the 22-year-old Croatian and 18-year-old Canadian. What a year it's been thus far for Auger-Aliassime. This is his 4th straight tournament, where he's won at least 2 rounds, now into his first Masters 1000 quarterfinal. As per the ATP, he is the first qualifier to advance to the quarters in Miami since Guillermo Canas 12 years ago. A win today would all but guarantee himself a seeding at Roland Garros. He'll have the power and speed advantage over Coric, but will he be able to hit through the steady ground game of Coric? Borna is a strong competitor, a boxing fan who likes to bring that mentality to the court. Experience could play a key factor here, though Felix does not strike me as a young man who will be overwhelmed by this moment. And he'll be encouraged by the recent success of his compatriots Denis Shapovalov and Bianca Andreescu. I expect a tight match, but I'm tipping Auger-Aliassime for the upset. Other notable matches on Day 10 embed from Getty Images. In the other women's quarterfinal, Karolina Pliskova, 5, vs. Marketa Vondrousova. The 19-year-old Vondrousova already has victories this month over Simona Halep and Elise Mertens. This is her first career meeting against her elder countrywoman. In Wednesday's other men's quarterfinal, 2018 champion John Isner, 7, vs. Roberto Bautista Agut, 22, the Djokovic slayer. Isner holds a 2-1 edge in their head-to-head. All 3 matches were played on hard courts, and all 3 matches went the distance. The Australian Open champion admits that he has been affected by things happening away from the court in recent weeks. World #1 Novak Djokovic is sticking to the positives following his surprise exit from the Miami Masters on Tuesday. The top seed crashed out to Roberto Bautista Agut 1-6, 7-5, 6-3, in the 4th round of the tournament, suffering a second loss to the Spaniard this season. Djokovic was a game away from victory twice, but was unable to overcome a solid resurgence from Bautista Agut following a rain delay, hitting 25 winners to 34 unforced errors and producing 4 double faults. This kind of match I should not have lost, So many opportunities. Just way too many wasted opportunities. This is what happens when you don't capitalize on time, Djokovic said afterwards. I thought I played well today and throughout this entire tournament. 1, 2, 3 sluggish games, and that's what happened. He later added. The loss follows his disappointing run in Indian Wells earlier this month. At that tournament he crashed out in the third round to Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber. It is the second consecutive year where Djokovic has been knocked out in the early stages of the American tournaments. Last year he lost both of his opening matches, however, the Serbian was on a comeback from an elbow injury at the time. Djokovic's #1 status remains intact regardless of who wins Miami. Reflecting on his performance, the Serbian admits that he may need to make adjustments to his preparations for the tournaments next year. Although he didn't elaborate on what that could entail. I have been having this kind of schedule for many years. That's sport, you have to deal with it, he said. It's not the first time I lose early in both tournaments. Have done that last couple of years. So I definitely have to rethink how I prepare for Indian Wells, Miami next year. The past few weeks have also been a turbulent time for the 15-time Grand Slam champion away from the court. Djokovic has come under scrutiny following the announcement of the upcoming removal of ATP CEO Chris Kermode. Djokovic is the president of the ATP Players Council, who has been under criticism from players such as Rafael Nadal. He has been accused of being a driving force behind the change of CEO, but he has kept a neutral stance when asked about the departure of Kermode. Way too many things off the court, Djokovic said. I guess that affected me a little bit on the court. I didn't feel my best health-wise, as well, in Indian Wells and here. You know, still rusty, but hey, look, you learn that's life. Djokovic will return to action next month at the Monte Carlo Masters in what will be the start of his clay court campaign. The world #7 spoke to Yuba Tennis earlier this week at the Miami Open. Embarking upon this year's Miami Open, two-time Grand Slam finalist Kevin Anderson felt at home and with good reason. Since he started playing tennis at the age of 6, the 6 feet 8 inches. South African has spent most of his career based in America. Growing up, he represented the University of Illinois, winning the NCAA doubles title in 2006 followed by reaching the final of the singles competition a year later. It was at university where Anderson would meet his future wife, Kelsey, who he married in 2011. The two now reside in Gulfstream, Florida, an affluent area of Delray Beach that is only an hour's drive away from the Miami Open. Walking onto the court, I felt like there was a lot of people that was excited to see me play, and that really felt good, Anderson commented about his first taste of the new venue. At the end of the day, it's the fans that drive our sport and I've worked really hard, he added. Relishing in the atmosphere of a place that feels like home, Anderson is known as a player that wants to be respected both on and off the court. He is the co-founder of Real Life Tennis, which provides online tennis instructions. In December, Anderson raised over $100,000 at the inaugural Grand Slam Cause for the Paws, which supports South Florida's dog rescue Desi's Second Chance and Ocean Conservancy. I always act and perform in a way that people can look up to me, especially kids. It was in Miami, where Anderson made his debut in a Masters tournament. At the age of 22, he reached the third round of the 2008 tournament as a qualifier, getting knocked out by 31st seed Igor Andreev. This year is the first time the venue has moved to the Hard Rock Stadium from Key Biscayne, forcing many to adapt to the changes, but Anderson hasn't been too preoccupied with that. It's been interesting because I haven't played that many points or sets. I was more focused on how my elbow was feeling and how my body was feeling, he admits. To be honest, I haven't been paying a lot of attention to the court. Whereas, when your body is healthy you are paying attention to the balls and court surface. Injury woes embed from Getty Images. Unfortunately for the South African, 2019 has been far from perfect. An elbow injury forced him to take a 9-week hiatus from the tour, making Miami only his third tournament of the year played. To put that into perspective, 12 months ago Miami was his 6th event of the season. Sometimes taking a break from the sport is a blessing in disguise. The brutal demands of traveling the ATP Tour can take its toll of many players regardless of their ranking. However, for Anderson it wasn't entirely a blessing. Instead, he was in the midst of uncertainty and frustration. At the time I didn't know how long I was going to be out for. He explained. Each day was spent training. I was training in the morning, during rehab and going to different places to get different types of therapies. It wasn't like I was told that I needed to take 3 or 4 weeks off to go on holiday. It was nice spending time at home, but it was really busy. Like for any other player, Anderson's inability to play a sport that he earns a living from was frustrating. Although he had seen a silver lining, it didn't necessarily feel like a break. There were tough times. I was missing tournaments that I really enjoyed playing. So that part was a little bit difficult. Mentally, I felt I handled it quite well, ready to make a mark. Embed from Getty Images. Twice Anderson has been on the verge of becoming the first South African to win a major title in singles since Johan Kriek back in 1981. Losing to Rafael Nadal in the 2017 US Open final and then Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon last year. Although Anderson's performance against Djokovic was hindered by his marathon clash with John Isner in the match before that lasted more than 6.5 hours. An outcome that created a widespread debate over the use of tiebreakers in the final sets. Hoping to turn his misfortunes around this year, the world number 7 has his eyes set on a strong clay court swing, which begins after Miami. He is yet to contest a final on the surface, but remains undeterred about his chances. Even heading into the clay court season, it's a time of the year that I really enjoy. The optimistic South African explains. I've made the semis in Madrid last year and I've been pretty close to the quarterfinals at the French Open. Whilst clay may not be the strongest surface for the fast-serving Anderson, his determination remains unchanged. Now nursing his elbow back to full health, it is expected that he will pose a big threat to the tour once again. For me right now it's one step at a time. Making sure I'm progressing where I want to be with the elbow. It's about getting matches and playing the tennis I want to be playing, Anderson outlines. I got high hopes. Right now it is about focusing day in and day out. Making sure my elbow responds during match situations. Anderson will play his 4th round match in Miami on Tuesday against Jordan Thompson. Note, interview conducted by Luca Baldessera, article written by Adam Atticott. Monday's schedule is overflowing with great matches, especially on the women's side where all 8 round of 16 matches will be played. Simona Halep, photo by Chrysaline Cayo, copyright at Sportvision. The men's bottom half of the draw will just be completing their 3rd round matches today, so the women will be a full round ahead when play concludes this evening. While there are many younger players well worth your attention on Monday, the biggest stories to follow will be veterans who continue to amaze in the twilight of their careers: 38-year-old Venus Williams, 37-year-old Roger Federer, and 36-year-old David Ferrer. Simona Halep, 2, versus Venus Williams. Embed from Getty Images. This is a rematch from January's Australian Open, which was also a 4th round match. Halep prevailed in straight sets on that day, as she has the last 3 times they've met. In fact, Venus has not won more than 3 games in any set of those matches. Venus did claim the other 3 matches they've played, though her last win came in 2013. As impressive as Venus's play has been this month, especially considering she's been much less than 100% physically, Halep is just not a good matchup for her. Venus's serve and ground strokes are not as powerful these days, and Simona is too solid off the ground and too quick around the court. However, Halep herself is far from 100%. She was hampered by a knee injury in her third-round match yesterday, and needed 3 sets to survive against the 93rd-ranked player in the world. Simona spent nearly 3 hours on court yesterday, while Venus dropped just 4 games in a much quicker victory. And you know the crowd will be fully behind the American today. If Venus is ever going to defeat Halep again, this may be her best shot. Frances Tiafoe, 28, vs. David Ferrer, WC. Embed from Getty Images. Watching David Ferrer outcompete Sasha Zverev on Saturday night, and seeing how much he still wants to win just mere weeks ahead of retiring from the sport, was a thing of beauty. His upset of the second seed is even more impressive considering David had not won back-to-back matches yet this year. Does he have another upset left in him? It would seem unlikely under normal conditions, but much like the women's match of the day, the player on the other side of the net may not be 100% healthy. Frances Tiafoe appeared to be dealing with stomach issues in his second-round match on Saturday, and his leg went into a full cramp right after match point. Tiafoe can ill afford to be tired or injured against one of the game's best competitors. Hopefully Frances is good to go, as he's had a full day off to recover. In their first career meeting, the 21-year-old American should be the favorite. Other notable matches on Day 8. Embed from Getty Images. Roger Federer, 4, who survived on Saturday despite some very poor play, vs. Filip Krajinovic, who upset Stan Wawrinka in the last round. Petra Kvitova, 3, vs. Caroline Garcia, 19. The French woman had a losing record on the year coming into this tournament, but already defeated Victoria Azarenka and Julia Gorges, and is 3-2 lifetime against Kvitova. Caroline Wozniacki, 13, vs. Sue Weiche, 27, who took out world number 1 Naomi Osaka on Saturday. Kiki Bertens, 7, vs. Ash Barty, 13. Barty is vying to enter the top 10 for the first time, as Bertens aims for her debut in the top 5. Bertens is 0-2 against Barty.